Hello and welcome. My name is Christoph Putz and I'm your IT career guide. In today's video I want to talk about how often can or should you or should not change employers and jobs. It's one of the most asked questions that I see sometimes in the comments for my videos, but also on other channels or on blogs on the internet. So when you work in IT, you're most likely aware that every time you switch jobs, you can potentially increase your salary between 15, 20, 25, up to 50%. And of course, that money is tempting. So many people want to change jobs sooner than later, and they forget about the potential impact to their career. So that's the topic for today's video. So before we get into this video, if you don't mind subscribing to my channel and hitting the like button for this video, I would really appreciate it. So how often is changing your jobs just too much? It can be damaging to your career, as you already know, and that's why you asked this question. I'm glad you asked these questions because some people don't, and then they go into those situations. It's just like, ooh, there's another job, there's more salary, oh, that's where I go, scroll. So they just deviate, and you need to have a plan. For one, you need to have that career development plan for yourself, but you also need to think about if you change jobs too often, it reflects negatively on your professionalism and what you can deliver for a company. So let's start with this first here. So when you start a new job, it will take 90 to 180 days until you are fully coming up to speed, until you have the first domain knowledge acquired where you start knowing people. It takes another 90 to 180 days to really be fully embedded, to have the right networking in place within the company where you know the players, where you know other people, where they get to know you. So that's really an important portion. So just think about it. If you leave after 6 months, you have not delivered much value to that company. And your next employer might be okay with it if it's just this one position. But if all your positions on your resume are like between 6 and 12 months, they might question what value can you deliver, or are you just a job hopper looking for the next higher salary? So that's a really important thing to consider. The second thing to consider really is when you change jobs and you walk into this new environment on Monday mornings, you don't know what to expect. So are you walking into one of the best workplaces that you can expect, or are you walking into a toxic environment? So it can happen really that from the outside everything looks great. They have great ratings on Glassdoor, but that might apply to the large company, maybe not to your specific manager. And maybe your manager is just somebody that is not a happy camper and makes your life hell. So sometimes you walk into those situations, or where the work environment is so stressful, where you're working 10, 12 hours every day and you're just burning out. So those are situations where you want to be able to pick up your resume, apply for another job, and leave as quickly as possible. So with quickly as possible, I want to say you have to give it at least 6 to 9, ideally 12 months before you leave somewhere. You have to give it time, you have to put some effort in. Don't just resign from trying too hard or trying hard to make the situation better. But if you realize after 6 months this is just not working out, then start dusting off your resume and look for a new job. But those things are to be considered. So you want to have that option to leave again if you are in a toxic work environment. It's so critical to have that on your mind, because again, if you change jobs too often, you don't have this anymore. Suddenly that additional change really reflects badly on you and might impact where you end up with your career. So those two things, please keep those in consideration. They're very important. Now an important part to configure is you can make a lateral job change. With lateral, I mean within the same company, or a vertical one where you go to a higher role in a different company. So those two are considered different. If you stay within the same company, they know who you are and they let you apply for jobs usually every 12 months. So they know that you delivered the value that they expect. They know where you're going, and depending on that work environment, they're happy to help you up to that next role. Everyone knows with like help desk, it's a starter role for many people. And so there's really the expectation that, well, hopefully you're driven and motivated enough to move up. And if there is an opportunity, please apply for it. You learned a lot about that company, about the people. That carries value. So when you move within that company, that value stays within the company. So it's so important. When you just move vertically into another company with a higher role compared to where you're coming from, you're starting starting from scratch. So that again looks different. So the lateral move is easier on your resume, even if you change the role after 12, 14 months, compared to leaving after 12, 14 months from company A to company B. So just be aware it looks different on your resume. So with any job in IT, I would recommend that you stay at least 12 months. There are different levels. So let's say if you work on a help desk role, leaving after 12 months is fine. I'm not saying you're an expert at that point, and I think you probably have to agree you're not. But if you then, let's say, move into systems administration, it will look very different if you leave again after 12 months. So leaving after 12 months, how much did you learn in the last 12 months? How much of that was domain knowledge related to that company, and how much actual experience did you pick up? How much actually developed your skills during that time? So if you're really honest, during 12 months, you cannot make such a big jump up. So yes, you're probably driven by the salary, but you shouldn't be. So my recommendation would be, from a help desk, stay at least 12 months in a help desk if you can. If you go into systems administration, I would say, as a junior systems administrator, stay at least 12 to 18 months before you move into that mid-level. On the mid-level, I would say you want to stay at least 2 years and really build up that experience. You're not far enough to be a senior level systems administrator. You might be one of those super rock stars. Of course, yes, you can move on to a senior level position, but the experience will potentially come and haunt you if you don't have enough of it. So I would say think about 2 years on the mid-level, ideally in the same company, move into a senior level position for systems administration, and then plan to stay 3, 4, 5 years potentially and really gain that seniority, that expert knowledge that you need to call yourself a senior level systems administrator or systems engineer. So that will really then help you to accelerate your career growth after that. So overall, if I look at help desk systems administration and making it to senior level systems administrator, I would recommend probably 2 job changes. So one from the help desk into a junior level systems administrator role, stay there for a little bit, build up experience, and then one more change into the senior level. So bypass the mid-level. Sometimes you can grow into that position where you work, but those would be my recommendations. So 2 job changes until you are a senior level systems administrator, and then plan to stay for several years to really build up that expert level that you need to have. So now, with what I mentioned before, you sometimes come into an environment that is toxic, or the environment changes on you. Maybe companies get acquired and suddenly you have to change jobs, and you're being made redundant. So that's where you want to have that flexibility in your resume. If you're just really jumping and do job hopping just for the higher salary, it is a big issue after the 3rd or 4th time, and companies will look at you and you will have a hard time to convince them that no, you're better than that. So just keep that in mind. So I hope you liked this video. I hope this was helpful. I know it's tempting to make more money, and I really want to re-emphasize here, have some patience. It will pay off. So map out your career growth, where you want to be and what you want to work on later on. If you do that and map it out with the job changes, you will be in such a better position to really ask and get the higher salaries. So because then you earned it, you have that expert knowledge. It's so critical. So again, I hope you liked this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so as well. And then I hope to see you in my next video. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye.